What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video, and we have some big news regarding the Khephren Thuram and Dominic Szoboszlai transfer stories to Liverpool. So because we are looking to sign an awesome midfielder or two, I'm really excited because this is a really interesting and important update. So make sure to watch the video in full because there are a lot of new information in this one. If you enjoy these transfer news updates, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here. Half of you guys are not subscribed to my channel who are watching this video, so make sure you put that right. And Rudy Galletti, a very reliable journalist, is saying that Liverpool have already agreed personal terms with Khephren Thuram, and now Liverpool and Nice are working to reach an agreement of around 40-45 million euros, which would be around 35 to 40 million pounds. I think for that really awesome, muscular, tall, dynamic midfielder like Khephren Thuram, it would be an awesome deal. So talks between Liverpool and Nice are progressing according to Rudy Galletti, and I think if we signed after Alexis McAllister both Dominic Szoboszlai and Khephren Thuram, that would sort our midfield for years. We have been crying out for a powerhouse midfielder like Khephren Thuram. He's like 196 centimeters tall, that's like 6'4" tall, and the way that he can get the ball off players and drive forward. I watched many of his YouTube highlights, obviously. I haven't watched a lot of Nice games in full, but Khephren Thuram is doing really well for the French under-21 side. They won all of their games at the Euro under-21 tournament so far. And I think if we signed Szoboszlai, an out-and-out attacking midfielder who can also track back and defend, by the way, because he has very high work rate, but Szoboszlai can score free kicks, long range shots, something that a Liverpool midfielder haven't done since Philippe Coutinho. We really badly need goal scoring midfielders. We already have McAllister. If we signed Szoboszlai and Khephren Thuram, that would be an awesome midfield rebuild, and it would sort our midfield for years, because both Khephren Thuram and Dominic Szoboszlai are 22 years old and McAllister is 24 years old. For the next 5, 6, 7 years, these midfielders could become household names at Liverpool and potentially even Liverpool legends. And with the continued development of Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Bajcetic, and potentially Carvalho if he comes back from his loan spell from Leipzig, I think that would be a really fantastic midfield. And if we signed these players, that would complete the Liverpool midfield that Liverpool would want at the start of the window and that Liverpool needed. Some people argue if we sign McAllister and Szoboszlai, we need an out-and-out defensive midfielder, somebody like Romeo Lavia. That profile would be a little bit better, but it would eat into the minutes of Bajcetic as well. So I heard that counter argument as well. Where do you sit on the fence? Where do you see your opinion fall on this debate? Do you think we need an out-and-out defensive midfielder next to McAllister and Szoboszlai, or do you think a box-to-box midfielder like Khephren Thuram, who can, by the way, play defensive midfield, is the way to go forward? If you ask for my personal opinion, I think the free midfielder signing is the maximum that I can see Liverpool make. I can't see Liverpool signing 4, because that would be too much money, and also it would not give enough playing time for the youngsters. But I mean, imagine if we signed Lavia, Khephren Thuram, Szoboszlai and McAllister. I mean, that would be just the midfield rebuild on steroids. It would be a dream transfer window, but this is sadly real life and not career mode. Liverpool don't have that kind of money to spend on just midfielders. And I would also sign a centre-back who can play on either side of a centre-back as a full-back. And previously we have seen reports of Liverpool already agreeing personal terms with Khephren Thuram, but we haven't seen reports of Liverpool progressing in talks with Nice, and this is is now very, very encouraging. And I think if Khephren Thuram would cost around £40 million, even that would be a pretty sensible transfer move for a 22-year-old really talented player. I mean, compare that to Declan Rice, who went for 105 million. Yes, Declan Rice is further in his development, but because he's English, he's Premier League proven, his value is probably 50-60% more than what his true market value is. And speaking on Anfield Index's transfer podcast, Dave Davis, another journalist, revealed that personal terms with Khephren Thuram and Manu Kone have already been agreed, so now it's a matter of whether Liverpool can strike a deal with their respective clubs. I think the Manu Kone transfer is very unlikely because he pulled up with an injury in France's third game in the Euro Under 21 tournament. He had to be substituted after just 19 minutes, so Manu Kone could face a spell on the sidelines. The Liverpool don't want to sign an injured player. And there were so many games last season where Liverpool, it felt like any team could score with almost every attack they had, because we had literally such a weak midfield. People would just run through it. No midfielder was putting in proper challenges. Khephren Thuram, potentially, Dominic Szoboszlai could fix a lot of those issues, because even Szoboszlai, who is an attacking midfielder, he runs back and he works so hard for his teammates. Yes, he might not be the best player when it comes to defending, but his work rate and his intensity definitely would fit into the Liverpool playing style. And Philipp Hinz, a German journalist, is reporting that both Liverpool and Newcastle felt that the release clause for Dominic Szoboszlai was too expensive in this first step. So they are trying to see the release clause expiring, and then they will try to structure a deal where we will pay the £60 million release clause in installments. And it won't be a release clause, it will be a regular transfer fee. And I think Liverpool will try to set up a Jota-like payment structure where we send Fabio Carvalho on the way to Leipzig. He already is having a medical at Leipzig and he will go there on loan, and we will pay the 60 million in 2 or 3 installments in the next 2 or 3 years. And I'm really worried that Newcastle will just pay more money than Liverpool because of their incredible wealth of Saudi unlimited money. What I'm banking on is that Dominic Szoboszlai has a soft spot for Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp. He has a Steven Gerrard quote tattooed on his arm. I already talked about that in yesterday's video. And also, he would choose Liverpool and even the Europa League and playing for Jurgen Klopp over choosing Newcastle. A Leipzig-based journalist confirmed that yesterday, but it depends on Liverpool agreeing a transfer fee with Leipzig. But I'm hoping that behind the scenes Dominic Szoboszlai is pushing for a move to Liverpool. Yes, Newcastle are probably richer right now than Liverpool, but they are definitely not the bigger club. They are definitely not the most prestigious club out of the two. Liverpool are, I think, the biggest club in England, next to Manchester United. Of course, you could argue until the cows come home which is the bigger club, Man United or Liverpool, but that's not what this video is about. Liverpool are a much bigger club than Newcastle, much more attractive. And I mean, Newcastle 2 seasons ago were fighting against relegation, and with the added pressure of Champions League football, with the added fixture list, there is no guarantee that Newcastle will finish in the top 4 next season as well. However, if Liverpool can rebuild their midfield and sign either Lavia or Khephren Thuram and Dominic Szoboszlai, there is a great chance that Liverpool will not only finish in the top 4 next season, but challenge for the Premier League title. And that's where we should be aiming our focus. That's what we should be rebuilding for. And Mo Chatra, a financial expert and a Liverpool fan, revealed how Liverpool could even pay the release clause of Dominic Szoboszlai in full. He says, "Welcome to the world of football receivables finance. In very simple terms, this means that a funder would pay the transfer fee to a selling club, and then a buying club would repay the funder through future installments. Taking the Szoboszlai deal as a case in point, if Liverpool aren't in a position to transfer £60 million in one go to the bank account of Leipzig in order to trigger the release clause and complete a deal to bring said player to Liverpool, a lender would pay the sum for them. In all likelihood, Liverpool would engage with a specialist broker companies like New Century are big players in this field. They would then scour the market for funders who make funds available to facilitate the deal and seek terms that would suit Liverpool's requirements. Those terms might be based on Liverpool repaying the funder over 3, 4, or even 5 installments, though the longer the repayment term, the greater the cost, the greater the money that Liverpool had to repay. The funder would apply charges in order to cover their costs and the suitable margin, and the broker would earn a fee. This agreement would also involve the club and the funder agreeing on who takes responsibility for collecting the receivables when they become payable. Clubs usually don't take that responsibility. Other fine detail points would also need to be agreed upon. In total, taking the Szoboszlai situation as an example, the total cost of the deal might amount to around £66 million through this route, but it would enable the club Liverpool FC to activate a release clause that it otherwise would not be able to do. It is important to note that Liverpool would need to obtain the Premier League's permission for such an agreement, as it would essentially involve the club securing finance against future cash flows. But that's what Barcelona did many times last summer. It is also important to stress that this has become increasingly common in football. Transfer fee inflation over the last few years have skyrocketed. Many big clubs across the top leagues do utilize such facilities. If reports of the release clause are true, if Szoboszlai's fee is likely to be appreciable higher after June 30th, which is the date by which the clause will expire, both the player and Liverpool are keen on the deal, then going down this route might be financially sensible, because we get the player for essentially 66 million, but we only have to pay that in a lot of installments. And if we can't secure a deal better than that with Leipzig after the release clause expires, it makes more sense to do this than to wait. However, if serious discussions have taken place over only a short period of time, then the club has a very tight window in which to secure the funding agreement and get the permission of the Premier League before terms can be agreed with the player and Leipzig. This thread has been shared to explain that making the deal happen is far from impossible for Liverpool. I mean, even if a £60 million transfer fee or release clause fee have to be paid, I think there is a way that Liverpool can make this work. However Liverpool make this deal work, I really hope that we sign Dominik Szoboszlai, not just because he is a fellow countryman of mine, he's from Hungary just like me, but also because he is a generational talent. He is Hungary's Jude Bellingham, as one Liverpool fan put it, and I've watched a lot of Dominik Szoboszlai throughout the years. I've been following his development since the early days of him playing for Salzburg, and I think he's a great talent who could be exactly the type of midfielder that Liverpool need. High energy, high intensity, goal scoring, assisting, and he's a pretty tall, muscular player as well, so he can get stuck in. And his free kicks, his long range shots, his long range goals, I haven't seen a Liverpool player like that since the days of Coutinho and Steven Gerrard in midfield. And we need goal threat from more areas, not just the attack. Alexis McAllister already is a very encouraging signing. He can easily score 10 goals and 10 assists next season. But imagine if we add another goal scoring midfielder to our squad. Then teams would have to not just worry about Salah, Nunez, Gakpo, Jota, Luis Diaz, whoever free is on the pitch of those 5 players, but they also have to worry about Alexis McAllister, Dominik Szoboszlai, and that of course creates space for other players. If the players mark Szoboszlai out of the game, that creates space for others. But I would also encourage Liverpool to sign a midfielder who is great at defending. Either Khephren Thuram or Romeo Lavia would be brilliant, because too many times either Henderson or Fabinho have been skipped past by other players, and they were late to challenge it. They were late in putting in tackles, and the midfield sometimes was so easy to bypass, to run through from the opposition's point of view, that Liverpool need to rectify that. But of course, the majority of the Liverpool team were pretty bad last season. You can't just blame Fabinho on or Henderson on the Liverpool's downfall last season. There were a lot of players who were below par. Only Alisson and Salah probably kept up their usual world-class level. All the other players can't say that they had a great season. So collectively, Liverpool will have to up their game and increase their level. And Dominic Szoboszlai could also slot in at right wing when Salah is either injured, he needs a rest, or he is off to the Africa Cup of Nations. Imagine how amazing it would be that we have a player almost as good as Salah or like almost as good as somebody who can score goals, get assists in the absence of Salah, because our right wing is pretty much non-existent when Salah is not playing. Either if it's Harvey Elliott or even Luis Diaz or Jota can play there, they are not as effective. Of course, Szoboszlai won't be as good as Salah, but if he will be a goal threat and if he can get assists and goals in 4 or 5 of those games that Salah will miss, that's an absolutely another reason why we should pursue Dominic Szoboszlai. And I think if we can agree a deal with Leipzig to pay that 60 or 65 million pounds in 2 or 3 installments, then Liverpool can definitely make it work. Szoboszlai signs a 5-year contract that's between 10 and 15 million per season for that 5-year contract, even if it costs 65 million. So come on Liverpool, make it happen. Thanks for watching guys, hope you enjoyed this. Have a lovely day. See you later. Goodbye.